Hello, I'm Randy Swallow. Welcome to In Your Neighborhood. For the next half hour, we're going to talk county issues and District E issues with a man who represents the area, Commissioner Tick Segerblom. We're here at the Hollywood Recreation and Community Center on the namesake street in District E. We are in the far reaches of this district, which stretches south to the Clark County Wetlands Park and Sam Boyd Stadium. District E continues through the central part of the valley from Tropicana to Charleston, across I-15 to Decatur. Here's a quick look in your neighborhood, District E. Situated in the central part of the valley, District E contains a large portion of Las Vegas Boulevard, including the rapidly expanding north part of the Strip. Some of the valley's most mature neighborhoods are in District E, and residents enjoy recreational opportunities at fine parks, such as Cambridge, Mulaski, and Silver Bowl. The Winchester Cultural Center is the finest of the fine arts facilities in Clark County. Talented local artists put their work on display in the gallery, and entertainers of all types thrill audiences on the Winchester stage. A lush garden and park setting provides a more tranquil experience at Winchester. A recreation center, senior facility, and water park are all the pride in Parkdale, and a recent multi-million-dollar renovation created a brand new space for classes, programs, and fitness. The Hollywood Regional Park continues to shine in District E. This place offers a state-of-the-art aquatic center with indoor and outdoor pools to keep cool, exercise, and learn new strokes. The community center at Hollywood rocks around the clock with health and fitness classes, after-school care, a thrills and spills-inducing skate park, gymnasium, and much more. And District E contains one of the most extraordinary parts of Clark County, the Wetlands Park. The wetlands is comprised of 2,900 acres of water, trails, and trees. Walkers, bikers, and hikers can explore miles of trails and observe hundreds of plants and animals in their green oasis habitat. The Nature Center provides a hands-on learning experience with interactive stations to teach the young and old about our Mojave Desert. Open from dusk till dawn daily, the Wetlands Park is a magnificent jewel in District E. Commissioner, thank you so much for joining us. Beautiful day out here in District E.
It really is.
Here we are at the Hollywood Recreation and Community Center, one of the finest community centers in all of the county here in District E. You've got an aquatic center, a day like today. There's many classes, things going on in there. It's even a respite for the homeless today on a hot day like today.
Absolutely. And this is just the beginning. We've actually got plans in the works and funded for some soccer fields farther to the south here and a dog park. So this area is going to be much improved in the next couple of years.
You're also doing some work in the gymnasium, some scoreboard improvements and things like that, and also the walking trails around here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the least known aspects of the county is the recreation department and Parks and Rec and what they do, and really phenomenal programs and virtually free. So people in the county should really take advantage of it.
And of course the Companion Aquatic Center just over there. Gosh, I can't believe as we're taping here in the middle of August, we're a month away from outdoor pool season closing, but the Indoor Aquatic Center there is utilized year-round. Very excellent place.
Absolutely, it's the best in the county.
Commissioner, as driving up here, and I'm sure anybody that lives in this part of your district knows about the construction project along Hollywood Boulevard. Bring us up to date on what's going on there.
Well, knock on wood, but we should be in the final phases. This street's been talked about improving it for years, and we finally got the funding. We're putting in sidewalks and streets, and it's going to really make a huge improvement. The key now is to take Hollywood and go all the way over to Galleria and Henderson. That's going to be a multi-$100-million project, and it'll be a couple of years down the road. But once that happens, there'll be a lot more access for people out here to shopping and for the emergency services, fire and places to get their ambulances to hospitals and things.
So which direction, whereabouts is the footprint is that going to be?
It's going to right from here to Galleria South, goes right through the middle of the Wetlands Park over the park. So the main expenditure is going to be a huge bridge over there. But we're going to do it so it doesn't impact the Wetlands Park, and hopefully it'll be actually an asset to it.
Commissioner, another part of District E where there's, I'm sure, a lot more people talk to you about roadway construction is along Maryland Parkway and Eastern in that corridor, and also around UNLV. Bring us up to date on some of the projects there.
Well, that's another one where we've been talking about it for years. We finally got the funding from the road tax, and literally the UNOE project should be done in the next couple of months. Eastern, we're just starting, but that shouldn't take too long either. But it's been a long time coming, and I apologize to everyone who has to drive up and down those streets because it's been a nightmare. If your car is still functioning at this point, then hopefully there is light in the tunnel. But unfortunately, I can't pay for new shocks or new tires. But it's really been a nightmare.
Commissioner, you're in your 7th or 8th month of office here, and obviously there's been a lot of work that has been done along Maryland Parkway. It's been studied very much, and some decisions have been made this spring. Talk a little bit about what people can expect to see along Maryland Parkway.
Well, truthfully, the studies have just begun, so I don't know what they're going to see. Everyone agrees it's a major transportation corridor. It's just a question of what to do. The first study was whether to have a light rail. That came back no, but I guess that's still somewhat up in the air. But the big focus now is going to be some type of a frequent bus, hopefully electric bus service, going from the airport down Maryland Parkway to downtown and over to the University Hospital. Again, that's going to be many years away, but we want to design it, and hopefully with buses we can keep it flexible, because the other key is we want people to be able to go back and forth to the Strip, because that's where a lot of people work. So if we could have Tropicana, Flamingo, Sahara, Desert Inn all available with frequent bus routes, then people that live in apartments along those streets could get in the bus and go to work and save a ton of money.
What's your opinion versus light rail transit versus bus rail transit? Obviously the price tag is one overriding factor, or why bus rail transit seems to be the bus rapid transit, I should say, seems to be the mode that has been selected so far.
I think we're just on the verge of transportation innovation that we haven't really seen, and so to go to fixed rail, which is obviously an old mode, I think would be inappropriate. And that plus it would take years and years, and I think we need to do something right away. But I guess time will tell.
And of course, this is a regional problem. This Maryland Parkway, a major north-south arterial, goes all the way from McCarran basically to Cashman Field, crossing over several commission districts and into the city of Las Vegas.
Absolutely. But the key would be if we could figure out a way to get under the airport and farther south, because that's what we need to do is connect the whole city, and that one road just connects part of it. Another area we're looking at is Boulder Highway, which does connect, goes all the way to obviously to Boulder City, mainly through Henderson, comes through Las Vegas, goes downtown, and also could connect to North Las Vegas. So that would be a huge benefit as far as multi-jurisdictional, and then there's lots of vacant land there that we could build low-income housing and affordable housing. So people, again, who need to work and can't afford to have a car would have major transportation.
Improving transportation is just one issue in some of these older neighborhoods, what you call the heart of Las Vegas, Commissioner. And I know something that you and your staff have been working on very much this year already has been code enforcement on a number of different levels, as far as short-term rentals, as far as abandoned properties, as far as illegal truck parking. Dissect any of those to start with.
Well, first we need to look at a little history. Before the recession, the county had a very proactive code enforcement program, but with this downturn and the belt tightening, we basically had to just squeeze it back to the very fundamentals. Now that we're starting to see some revenue coming in, we can start to expand again, and that's my goal, is to make it a very active enforcement, because if you've got a homeless person or you got a neighborhood that's giving you a problem, you should be able to call and within 24 hours have somebody come out and see it. The other issue we're dealing with is the big semis that are being parked in residential neighborhoods. Illegal, but there really was no recourse to do anything about it. Now we're giving code enforcement some authority and some power and let them speed up the process, so hopefully that will take care of that. But I can just tell people that are listening to this, complain. If we don't hear about it, we can't do anything about it. But if you call and are persistent and bug us, call my office, call another commissioner's office. We're going to start to react. And once we start to react, then we get better at it, and you're going to see major improvement in lifestyle in Clark County.
I know code enforcement, they said they've collected $1.6 million in different fines for different, some of these things, what we've just talked about, Commissioner. How big of a problem, for example, is illegal truck parking in District D?
Well, it depends on where you are, but we get a ton of complaints about it, so it seems to be a major problem. But the fines you're talking about would basically deal with housing and problems where a lot of these old apartment buildings, they let them get run down. There's lots of code violations, and really bad for the tenants, bad for the neighborhoods, because one building goes down and the whole neighborhood goes down. So we started to come in and say, that's inappropriate, it's a $100 fine. If it's not fixed tomorrow, it's a $250 fine, and then we start to add it up. And eventually we're going to put on the tax lien, and eventually, hopefully, we'll be able to just come and take the property, or if it's a bad property, bulldoze it and take the land, because we cannot tolerate absentee landlords that just let these properties go to hell.
On a different level, Commissioner, short-term rentals, how big of a problem is that? Obviously, people may or may not know that in Clark County it is, of course, illegal. In other jurisdictions in the Valley, perhaps it is legal, but in Clark County, illegal.
Yeah. Again, it just depends on the neighborhood, but a lot of places there are party houses. There's people are still using Airbnb, and if you're someone who sees that or even believes that might be going on, call us and we'll take a complaint. We can fine them, we can put them out of business, we can make them pay some money, but it is illegal in the county, and we won't tolerate it, but we need to know about it. We can't police it ourselves. One of the things I am looking at, though, is to actually have Airbnb tell us if they're being used in Nevada, in Southern Nevada. So if there's somebody who's making profit off of Airbnb, we should be able to get the Airbnb records, find that, and then track it down ourselves, so be more proactive.
Commissioner, you held a town hall meeting at the Winchester Dondero Cultural Center recently, and I was surprised at the number of people in areas like that, seemingly a little bit more of the suburbs, have such a big homeless problem there. Why is that?
Well, frankly, the homeless are everywhere now. Not to blame them, but the reality is it's become a much broader issue, which is good in the sense that everybody's now getting involved and starting to realize we have to do something. But the particular neighborhood you're talking about is very close to the Flamingo Wash, and that's been a huge problem over the years and just becoming worse. Especially in the summer, it's a great place for homeless to get in there where it's cool, they have water. But the fact is, it's very unsafe. And so we send people in to get them out of the ditch or out of the wash. Then they go into the neighborhoods. Then the neighbors will get upset, which they should. And then we come push them out of the neighborhoods, and then they go somewhere else, and then they end up back in the wash. It's just a vicious cycle. So ultimately, we have to find some type of housing for the homeless, make it available, and say, if you aren't willing to do this, then we're going to take you to jail. But right now, we don't have that ability to offer it. It's not illegal to be homeless. So it's just going to take time, take money. But again, if you have a homeless person in your neighborhood, call us and we will deal with that, because it's unacceptable to have in residential neighborhoods people that are homeless, setting up camps and things like that.
And I know the county is working on some solutions about the homeless. We'll get to that in just a second. We must take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll continue talking District E issues with your Commissioner, Tick Segerblom. Stay tuned.
If you're wild about the Clark County Wetlands Park, you'll love the Wetlands Park Nature Center. Its exhibit gallery gives you a whole new perspective on this desert oasis located right in Clark County's backyard. The interactive displays, educational videos and activities, and hands-on exhibits are for kids of all ages. There's something for everyone at the Wetlands Park, indoors and outdoors, and it's all free. Visit today.
District E is home to the Clark County Wetlands Park. The wetlands is a vital link in our ecosystem, the natural habitat for hundreds of species of birds, plants, and animals. The wetland serves as a filter, helping to purify our water as it empties into Lake Mead. The wetlands offers an indoor interpretive area. The Nature Center and gift shop are open daily and free to visit. The park consists of 2,900 acres of trails and natural beauty unlike any other in our Mojave Desert and is located in District E. And we're talking District E issues with the man who represents the area, your Commissioner, Tick Segerblom. Commissioner, we talked about homeless a little bit in the last segment, and obviously the county, that's been something that's been very important to you and the Commission this spring and this summer. Up to about $12 million of marijuana licensing fees will be going directly to homeless. Talk a little bit about that.
Correct. Well, obviously there was a huge need to deal with programs, and there wasn't a funding source. So Commissioner Kirkpatrick, to her credit, back in January proposed that we take $12 million from homeless. It's not just fees, it's revenue too. We get a 3% of gross sales from the dispensaries, and it's about $1 million a month we collect. And so that money is dedicated to homeless. We've given it to our social services department, and they are working on different solutions, starting with families, homeless families, and how we can help them, and also now looking at apartments. They rent apartment buildings, and then when you find somebody that's homeless, we can put them into one of those apartments on a temporary basis. But it's still just the tip of the iceberg. Hopefully we'll have more revenue coming in that we can do some more things.
And I know some money is also going for the homeless teens at the Shannon West Center.
Right. Yeah, it's the money is, that $12 million is dedicated for homeless and various things, but the key was to start with families and kids. But the other thing about the great thing about the marijuana money is I have a proposal that'll raise about another $2 million in marijuana money. And my goal with that money would be to use that for judicial processes and for social justice. One of the things we haven't done in Nevada is help people that have marijuana convictions and other drug-related convictions to take that off their record. You know, if you have something like that on your record, you can't get a student loan, you can't do all kinds of stuff, it follows you forever. Whereas we can seal that, that gives that person a new life. And particularly with a marijuana conviction, why would you allow somebody to be harmed for the rest of their life for a marijuana conviction when truthfully the marijuana is not legal? So it's something that hopefully we can get a couple $1 million, work with the courts, work with the Legal Aid Society, and come up with a program where people can come and for free get their records sealed and cleared up.
Commissioner, I'm sure if anyone doesn't know your history, they should be aware that you've been very transparent about, you've been on the forefront of the cannabis industry, both in your days at the legislature and now here on the County Commission. It's been about 4 years now it's been legal medicinally in Nevada, 2 years now for recreational use. Overall, how has marijuana been handled and this business been handled in our state, in Clark County?
Well, truthfully, it's just phenomenal. When you start from scratch, which we did 4 years ago, and now it's a $1 billion industry, there's been no major scandals, no major problems. There's no evidence that teen use is up. There's no evidence that DUIs are up. It's really been just, from my perspective, very positive. The fact is, it was already being used. What we've done now is just made sure that people can buy stuff that has been tested, so there's no pesticides or fertilizers in what you're breathing. And then we're taxing it so that the revenue that the black market was getting and the mafia were getting now goes to you and me to help with homeless and other programs. So it's been a very positive thing. The problem we face right now is there's no place for a tourist to use it. You and I could use it at our house if we want to, but somebody coming from California can buy it here, but they can't use it here. And I think that's the next frontier. We have 2 years to try to focus on what we can do, but in 2 years, that's going to be my goal, is to really rush out there and develop some type of lounge system. Make sure that it's safe, make sure that people aren't going in there and getting in their car and going out on the streets. But there's no reason a tourist couldn't take an Uber from a strip hotel, go to a lounge or something, listen to music, whatever they want to do, and then go back to their hotel. That to me is perfectly reasonable, and in fact it's already happening. Let's just do it openly.
How do you think, you say within 2 years, do you expect that to roll out, Commissioner?
Well, yeah, so the legislature just passed a law that said we couldn't do it for 2 years. We were all set to go, but now it's going to be not until 2021, July probably when it starts, but I think people will be all set to go. And so as soon as that law says go, we're off to the races.
If anything, perhaps any of the projections as far as what the economic hit or how it has impacted our community they've been low.
Right. Well, there's been no harm, and truthfully, now the police don't have to worry about marijuana, so they're freed up to worry about other things. So it's been a positive from the criminal justice side. And then, as I said, we being the county is making $1,000 a month. I mean, $1 million a month in taxes. The city's probably making $500,000 in taxes. Henderson's probably making that much. The state is making about $60 million in taxes, which we finally got going directly to schools. So if anyone's listening to this, the marijuana money is going to schools. But it's been a very positive thing, and now we just need to keep focused on that industry. There's 5,000 or more employees in the industry. There's been no government subsidies. If you compare it to, for example, Tesla, we gave them $1.5 billion in tax credits up in Reno for 5,000 jobs. Marijuana, we haven't given them anything, and they're paying all this money in revenue. Even the stadium, which is not you can have different opinions about it, but that's one where we subsidize that, $750 million in taxes. No subsidies for marijuana, and they're paying taxes. So you can't really complain about it, in my opinion.
On a different level, Commissioner, of a tax that possibly could happen is a 0.25% sales tax that actually came up in a historic meeting between the Board of County Commissioners and the Clark County School District trustees, that this 0.25% would go to improving K-12 education in Nevada. I know it's in its infancy stages, but just kind of bring us up to date on where you sit on this.
Well, I was a big proponent of this idea even in my campaign. I think it's, at the end of the day, because of our structure, you have to have 2/3 votes in the legislature to pass a tax increase. We just don't have that. So the second best way to do it is to authorize the county commission to vote for a tax increase. And I think people, if they know the money is going to go for something specific, roads or schools, people support that. I campaigned openly on it and I got elected, so I feel that's a mandate for me. But the reality is we can't just give it to pay for teacher salaries, again, given the way the law is. So it has to be for programs that basically are new in the school district, things that they would like to do but they can't do. So we're working with the school district. But the best part from my perspective is the fact that we are working as a county with the school district. We have the same geographic boundaries for the whole county, but they've always had their silo, we've had our silo. And it's like, hello, we do the same thing. Like, for example, this program here, we could do programs with the school district. You can go to a school, why can't we use their playgrounds for parks too? I mean, it's crazy to have different, not be able to talk to each other, work with each other. And this is the start of that process, I believe.
Commissioner, you touched on the Las Vegas Convention Visitors Authority expansion coming in. That's in District E also, and I know that you also had some concern. There's some new technology in there, a boring tunnel, which is actually going to be a people mover between the different convention halls. Bring us up to date on what you know about that project and any concerns you might have.
Well, knock on wood, because it's never been done before, but it's Elon Musk who made the Teslas and does SpaceX, which is very impressive. I saw that. But anyway, during my vacation, I went to the SpaceX factory down in Hawthorne, California, and they also have the first tunnel that they've bored and made as a model for what we're going to have here in Las Vegas. And you know, the main thing is that the cost is so phenomenal compared to any other form of transportation. It's underground. It's nothing fancy. It's just like a tunnel. You get in a Tesla and you drive down the tunnel. So, but it seems to work fine there. We don't know how it's going to work here as far as our caliche and other things, but they've said a flat bid, so we're not going to be subsidizing them. They're going to be subsidizing us if it goes over. They seem very knowledgeable. Everybody down there is young and energetic, and they're all engineers and all bright, and they claim they know what they're doing, so we're going to find out.
Commissioner, that's one project on the north end of the Strip which has been ripe for revitalization, and there is a lot of construction activity going on there. The Convention Center, obviously, Resorts World, and Sahara, the old SLS now being rebranded as Sahara. Why has it taken so long, or what do you hope will happen in the north end of the Strip?
Well, that's the fun part is I represent from Flamingo North, and that has been kind of the stepchild of the Strip. But the fact is that's where the vacant land is now, and so things are starting to happen there, and it's going to be the most exciting part of the Strip. The Convention Center itself, you know, I think it's $1.5 billion or $2 billion of reinvestment, totally redoing it, making the entrance on Convention Center Drive there. So that's going to be huge. The Resorts World, they just finished off their top floor, I think 50-some floors. So that's going to be a multi-billion-dollar project. The old Fontainebleau, which is that blue building that just sit there with nothing, that's been bought by some people and they're going to fix it up, which is going to be great. And then the Sahara, which became the SLS, and now it's back to the Sahara. That guy is going to spend a fortune. So the truth is the north part of the Strip is where the action is. I'm very excited to see that because it's been a long time coming. But the synergy is going to be great, and then as these things start to open the next couple of years, you'll be amazed at what happens on the north side.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. We must take another short break, but when we come back, we'll continue in your neighborhood with District E Commissioner Tick Segerblom. Stay tuned.
Did you know there are over 1,000 miles of trails here in Southern Nevada? Without knowing where to find them or what to expect, it can be hard to enjoy one of the best reasons to live in Southern Nevada. The Neon to Nature program, found at neontonature.org, is an online map tool that helps you locate walking and hiking trails throughout the valley. You can search the map for detailed information about each trail, including location and length, surface type, level of difficulty, and trail photos. So get out, find a trail, and explore new places at neontonature.org.
District E is home to the Winchester-Dondero Cultural Center. This place is located in Winchester and bears the name of the first female Clark County Commissioner, Thalia Dondero. It's the best cultural center in the valley. Recent renovations have nearly doubled the indoor space with classes and performances for all ages. The Winchester Gallery offers year-round art exhibitions showcasing local talent on canvas and sculpture. And the bucolic outdoor areas offer picnicking, a water feature, skateboarding, and lots of trees and shade. The Winchester-Dondero Cultural Center is located near Pecos McLeod and Desert Inn in District E. And speaking of District E, we're talking with the man who represents the area, your Commissioner, Tick Segerblom. Commissioner, you and your staff have been all over the place, keeping very busy this summer. What are some of the main priorities for you and your staff in the next couple months?
Well, as you know, the census starts next winter, the start of the 1st of 2020. So we're working diligently to make sure that everyone is counted. That is so critical. And so if you're listening to this, make sure you participate in that, because that means federal funds for our state and for our county for the next 10 years. So people that aren't counted, it really hurts us. I'm also focused on water and water use, climate change, how we can, as a county and as a valley, take our energy and focus on making sure that we're sustainable and we use less energy, keep our air clean, and focus on the fact that this city is actually growing hotter faster than any other city in the country. So it's going to be a huge problem now, and it's just going to get worse.
And I know you and your staff are very approachable and very prominent on social media and lots of town halls, lots of outreach efforts.
Absolutely. If you have a problem, please call us. 455-3500, area 702. Call us, and if we can't help you, then we'll say that. But the truth is, if we don't know about it, we can't do anything. And that's why we need a lot of citizen participation.
And finally, Commissioner, we're going to put you on the spot here with the Commissioner's quiz and give you an either or here, okay? You ready? All right. And I know you are a big fan of the outdoors in Southern Nevada. Which do you prefer, the Clark County Wetlands Park or Mount Charleston?
Wetlands Park, for sure. That's in my district, and it's really an unknown resource. If you just go out there and walk around and just be amazed. I was shocked to see. I grew up here, and that was just the Las Vegas Wash. We always just thought of it as a dump kind of place, but now it's been really fixed up, and it's just great. Lots of wildlife. There's a great little museum there, and anyway, it's very exciting.
I know you're a student of our civic history. Let's see what you prefer of two main streets in our city, in our smaller cities, Water Street in Henderson or Nevada Way in Boulder City.
Well, since I was born and raised in Boulder City, I would have to go to Nevada Street, but the fact is Water Street is really being fixed up. It's very exciting what Henderson is doing, and they're really the model for how a city can take itself and rebrand itself. So I can't say enough about how great Henderson is.
Pick a legendary Las Vegas performer, Elvis or Liberace?
Well, since everyone would pick Elvis, I'll pick Liberace, because the truth is he was really the first Elvis. He really became the first one to have the program and to be based here in Las Vegas, and at the time, back in the 50s, he was the highest paid performer in the world. So very exciting. And I just read this, that when Elvis came and said he's going to start his program at the Old International, he called in Liberace, and Liberace said, you need to pep up your program. So I think Elvis gained a lot of it. All the sequins on his outfit came from Liberace.
Let's move to sports, the Vegas Golden Knights or UNLV basketball?
Well, I hate to say the Golden Knights right now, but there's always hope to come back. I'm a Rebel fan going way back, and I can remember when they were world champions. So we're always optimistic, but right now they got to go with the Knights because they are the hot team. But let's go with the Lights too. The Lights soccer team is going to be great.
And finally, like I say, I know you're very prolific on social media, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram.
No question about it. Twitter is the way to go.
Thank you very much, Commissioner.
Thank you.
That wraps up this edition of In Your Neighborhood. Thanks to Commissioner Tick Segerblom for taking time to tell us about the area he calls home and represents as your elected official, District E. If you have any questions about this show or ideas for upcoming segments in your neighborhood, call me at 702-455-6357 or send an email to rsw@clarkcountynv.gov. Thanks for tuning in to Clark County Television. On behalf of all of us here at Clark County Television, I'm Randy Swallow. We'll see you again next time in your neighborhood.